sing a song. We'll ask all of you to join. Then Pratibda will say something, and then we'll introduce, though most of you know, but some of you don't, to what we do here, and how you, and also we'll ask you how you can help. And then we hope by this time listeners it will come, especially the minister, and there are a few singers, Dr. Dulu Rai and Dr. Helen Rai, and then Subra Goswami. I don't know. So anyway, you start, and then we'll continue. And in the end, we have food, and more food.
More people are coming, more food are coming. So there is a good time.
Yeah.
Okay. Just very quickly. Thank you all for coming and being on time and or waiting this long to start. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and any other holidays I may have missed, and Happy New Year eventually. This is the Christmas celebration or seasonal celebration of our. We have here at the ISPaD office monthly. We started a monthly event program where it's just a variety of things, everything from accounting to music to whatever ends up happening that day. And so I'm just going to put it out there. Thank you all for coming, and I think the person who's going to be starting us off is Dr. Caroline Sawyer, if I'm going to just ramble on while she writes some notes. It looks like. Yes, there is going to be lots of food. Fear not. It's just being organized so that you guys can just not get into a fight over it. So, yeah. So, Dr. Sawyer, are you ready to?
I think so. Let's see, you covered a lot, Jumo. Shall I continue with the agenda instead of
Yeah.
set up?
Yes.
Okay.
But anyway, it's up to you. Yeah. No, Babu is not just, he's going to say, he's going to read and he's going to sing. Dr. Caroline Sawyer, she is a historian. She is a professor chairman of history department at State University of New York at Old Westbury. One of her many talents is that she speaks and writes many languages: Arabic, Persian, Hindi, Urdu, and Bengali, and I'm sure I'm missing some French or many other languages, and an expert of Hinduism and Islam.
Okay, thank you, Sachi. So I pick up on these points where, okay. Thank you for that kind introduction, and thank you everybody for coming. The traffic, of course, is as usual on Northern State Parkway especially, but how glorious to come on passing the streets here and seeing the wonderful lights, the way people decorate their houses. I recently moved to Long Island, to Farmingdale, where there are lights, but they're a little bit garish. This is just lovely, and to see the decorations here that have been done so nicely on ISPaD. And of course these lights and decorations, it's a very special time of year in this culture where we've lost touch with a lot of traditions. Holidays may tend to turn to, well, let's have a barbecue, which of course is nice. but there's some very distinctive aspects of this holiday, which is part of what brings us together to celebrate and to recognize different traditions. Cheval already referred to the variety of traditions that converge at this time of year. Another one is the solstice, that is the one that is determined by the sun. We're approaching, I think it's Sunday, the longest day of the year, the longest night of the year, the shortest day of the year. So of course we're thinking about darkness and light, and probably in a less happy way in terms of world events and events in this country. The fact that perhaps people, even here, sadly, who did not feel afraid last year may have more cause to feel discomfort in living here because of the voicing of opinions that diversity should be limited, or and that is so. I think we should think about these lights as always as a sign of hope and perseverance. That certainly is the message of Hanukkah, the burning of the lights in the temple when it was nearly destroyed. So I think it's that we have a combination of cultural celebration and also pondering events, good and bad, in the past year and our hopes for the coming year. And we are, as you know, this is a welcome on behalf of ISPaD, International Partition Documentation. And we have, you may know, but it's worth mentioning again that there's the copy of the 2015 Partition Journal available for, which you're welcome to take, and especially if you give $5 donation.
Yeah, please do
You
take.
can take multiple copies.
Yes.
And pay for them.
Actually,
And that helps the
we
center
have your
continue
father's-
to do its work. And this event too is completely free, but donations are welcome. And further, as the center continues its work, there have been so many wonderful events this past year, including the Baul singers come to mind. And we also had. What was our event?
Diwali.
Of course, it's Diwali. Yes.
Thanksgiving,
Yes, that's right. So if anybody here would like to organize an event, they can speak with Shubho and with Sachiji. Let's see, there are many other opportunities here. The center is working on collecting interviews with refugees, protectors, and survivors. So if anybody knows somebody who might have something to recount from their own recollection, an older person, or remembering what they have been told, this is a very important aspect of the center's work. Overnight guest room rental is available for close friends. We need people to write for the Partition Journal and to join the annual conference, which takes place on the SUNY Westbury campus every October. And you can also go to the ISPaD 1947, that's ISPaD 1947 channel, to see some of the interviews. Do we have, Shefali, do we have an event to announce, the next event to announce?
Not yet.
Okay, so stay tuned for the next event. And
But we will be traveling, so.
oh,
that's
I
why
see.
not.
Oh,
When
I
I say
see.
we,
Okay.
Not
the-
Subo.
Oh,
not
I see.
Subo.
the guests that are males weren't invited.
Oh, I
To
see. So
India,
it's female
Burma,
only.
and,
Female only trip to India and Bangladesh. Oh, very good. Very good.
Burma.
Yes, and Burma.
Myanmar.
Yes,
Myanmar.
Myanmar. Oh, that's very impressive. So we will have, first we'll have presentations, then time for question and answer, and then we will have some tea and snacks and talk.
No, there will be real food.
And there'll be real food. Oh, okay.
We're assuming
There'll
that
be real food.
that those people will show up with the food.
Yes, and I think it's this as the food is usually, though not always, prepared by females. I think we can think of the female-only trip to Bangladesh as the reward for all this work, right, Shefali? The work of people who prepare food needs also to be recognized.
Yes, of course.
And let's see, I think that's, so with that, I think we can Unless I missed anything, we can
Yeah.
start.
Who is going to?
Okay, so let's see, who is, I don't know if we have.
Babu, why didn't you come now?
Okay,
So Shubha introduce him.
okay.
That he's going to say something.
Babu.
Babu is-
And we are also going to Babu Matthias Rosario. He's a good friend of Partition Documentation Project. He has been here many, many times. He is originally from Bangladesh. So he's going to say something and then he's going to sing a song, which is a church song, very popular in Bengal, but written by Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore. So it may not be familiar with some of you, but those who know it, then you could sing. তুমি আর কিছু বলতে চাও? Okay, please.
This is the time for joy because we are celebrating a lot of things in our life, daily life, every day. But especially when the event comes in our life, it's make us happy. Now happy celebrating Christmas. So I want to talk about something about the Christmas in personal way, how I feel the Christmas in my life and how I feel. As a Christian, I believe that Christmas heralds the good news of God becoming a human being, entering into human family and dwelling there as a Emmanuel. This is the gospel of joy. I bring you the news of great joy, a joy be shared by the whole people of the world. And something I'll say in my language in Bengali. Borodin. We call Christmas in our Bengali language Borodin. Borodin means big day.
Longest day.
But big day is the Bengali word we chose as a Christmas in our language. That 25th December is not the big day in our calendaring. It's a very short day, but it is big day for all the world. So why this is the big day? Because big day we make our day is big. Because Jesus is born in the world, bring the peace. And Christmas is the joy for everybody. Because Christmas is not only the events, it's the good news from the God. God came in the world as a human being. And Jesus bring the peace for the world. Christmas, that way we celebrate because we believe Jesus is the God. But different way we can, when we feel that God is the human being, it will make us different and wondering. But it's real. Every people is created by God, is God image. That way everybody is the man of God. Every human being, many people is the God. Because God make us His image. For that we are everybody celebrating Christmas differently, not the religious purpose. Make a joy our life as a Christian, as all human being. Then in the sense, Rabindranath Tagore wrote one song. Because the song says, I say in the Bengali, Tai tumar anando amar por, tumi tai eshecho niche. That means God, peace, the human being and the people, for that He came down from heaven to earth as a peace. In my life, when I begin, I understand about the Christmas and the love, and choose every year the Christmas song in the whole month for one song. And I always sing myself, and recite myself at peace, and I understand the meaning of the joy and the Christmas. And I learned that song from my mom. That song, long ago I heard that one, but still it is song for everybody and the church sing. পৃথিবীর বুকে নবীনতারাটি জন্ম বারতা দিল, ঘুমায়ো না আর, জাগো পুরবাসী, সুন্দর আজি এলো। So I wish everybody Merry Christmas and Shubho Borodin. Thank you everybody.
Thank you. Category and that exciting don't turn it on. So here is the one. Those who have not seen it, but yeah, take a look and do pick up a few, please. Let me try just. Probably trying to play after 10, 12 years at least. These knuckles are solid. Anyway, so.
আনন্দলোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর। আনন্দলোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর। মহিমা তব উদ্ভাসিত মহাগগন মাঝে, মহিমা তব উদ্ভাসিত মহাগগন মাঝে, বিশ্ব জগৎ মণিভূষণ বেষ্টিত চরণে, আনন্দলোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর। গ্রহ তারক চন্দ্র তপন ব্যাকুল দ্রুত বেগে, করিছে স্নান করিছে পান অক্ষয় কিরণে, আনন্দলোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর। ধরণীর পর ঝরে নির্ঝর মোহন মধু শোভা, ধরণীর পরে ঝরণীর ঝর মোহন মধু শোভা, ফুল পল্লব গীত গন্ধ সুন্দর বরণে, আনন্দলোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর। জগতে তব কি মহোৎসব বন্দন করে বিশ্ব, জগতে তব কি মহোৎসব বন্দন করে বিশ্ব। শ্রী সম্পদ ভূম সম্পদ নির্ভয় শরণে, আনন্দলোকে মঙ্গলালোকে বিরাজ সত্য সুন্দর। Thank you.
Very good.
exist, it says you exist in this land of happiness, Anandalok, Mongolalok. You exist in the land of this auspicious place, and you exist everywhere amongst us. So this is the beauty of God that Rabindranath Tagore has expressed. So it's very popular. I heard this song in a Bengali church maybe 40 years ago. So it stayed with me. So when I asked him, he says, yeah, we use this song in the church. So, Pratibda, would you like to say? And then maybe Tom, and then others, if you please do say something. And then you also, and Brigadier Saab, Veena Devi, or anybody.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. This old year is going to end. It should be a new beginning, and I wish everybody a new beginning with happiness and health and prosperity, everything. Christmas is a joyous occasion, as everybody knows. Even though it is a religious festival of the Christians, it's actually celebrated all over the world among everybody nowadays, Christians as well as non-Christians, any religious background. And a lot of it has been secularized with parties and festivities, cards and gifts and so on. Now, compared to other religions, in India, Christmas is a rather small festival because of the population, since there are only about 2.3% Christians in India. However, even though since the total population is 1 billion, so it still amounts to about 25 million, which is a considerable number. And one of the largest Indian Christian communities is in the city of Mumbai. A lot of Christians in Mumbai are Roman Catholics. In India's smallest state, Goa, which is on the west coast, about 26% of the people are Christians, mainly Catholics. Many of the Christians of Mumbai have roots in Goa. And in addition, in the northeastern states, like Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Mizoram, a large number of Christians live there. In some cases, they are almost majority. Now, the Midnight Mass is a very important service for Christians in India, especially Catholics. The whole family will walk to the Mass, and this will be followed by a massive feast of different delicacies and the giving and receiving of presents. Churches in India are decorated with one set of flowers and candles for the Christmas Eve Midnight Mass service. And since many different languages are spoken in India, in Hindi, Merry Christmas is called Shubh Christmas. In Urdu, it's called Christmas Mubarak. In Sanskrit, it is Christmas Shubho Kamana, and so on. In Bengali, Borodin, as Babu mentioned. Yeah, Shubho Borodin. So in every language, it has its own expression, but means the same. And instead of having traditional Christmas trees, banana or mango tree is usually decorated, or whatever tree people can find. So sometimes people can leave mango leaves to decorate their homes, and this is very similar to Hindu rituals. In southern India, Christians often put small diyas, just like the Diwali, on rooftops. So which shows that Jesus is the light of the world. This symbolizes that. So there are many similarities, and also some of the original Indian customs have been incorporated by the Christians in India. Now, Christians in Goa love to celebrate Christmas in a very large scale, and they have adopted some of the so-called Western customs as part of their Christmas, since they have historic ties with Portugal. And most Catholics, most Christians in Goa are Catholics, as I mentioned before. They go singing carols a week before Christmas. And Christmas trees are also very popular, and also a traditional rich fruit Christmas cakes. Lots of local sweets are also eaten. And besides that, Christian families may have a nativity scene in their houses with clay figures in it. And on Christmas Eve, Christians in Goa hang out giant paper lanterns in the shape of stars between the houses, so the stars seem to float above you as you walk down the road. The main Christmas meal is eaten on Christmas Eve in Goa, and is also very Western, which includes, for instance, roast turkey or chicken. After the meal, they go to church for midnight mass, and then the bells ring to announce the Christmas day has arrived. Many Christians in Goa also celebrate Epiphany and remember the wise men visiting Jesus. And Christians in Mumbai also use very similar traditions like star lanterns and the manger scenes, nativity. And some of them actually compete in different houses to show who has the best decorations, especially the nativity scene and the Christmas lights. In South India, Southwest India, in Kerala again, in the 22% of the states, 33 million are Christians. And again, there's a very important festival. And traditional Catholics there fast and don't eat all day until midnight service from the 1st through the 24th of December. And during the start of Christmas season, stationery shops are filled with new and varieties of Christmas stars. In India, Father Christmas, or Santa Claus, delivers presents to children from a horse cart. He is known as Christmas Baba in Hindi, Baba Christmas in Urdu. Both mean the same, Father Christmas, and Christmas Tata in Tamil, and so on, again in different languages. So again, because it's winter, in addition to Christmas, there are also other festivals like Hanukkah, and there is one called St. Lucia's Day in England. And also now there is Kwanzaa and New Year and so on. So this is a really festive season which lasts for several weeks, and we are celebrating it here in the same way, in a very diverse manner with people from all different backgrounds. And again, I wish you happy holidays. And I won't take any more time, but I just wanted to give you some idea about how Christmas is celebrated in different parts of the world. Thank you.
So as you can see, people are coming in. So
Steve and Sushila are stuck in the traffic, so
yeah.
they are on their
So
way.
Tom, would you like to say something? Why not say maybe two Toms? You can say how you celebrate Christmas at home or parents.
The problem with putting the professor in charge is you never know when someone's going to call on you.
Oh man, Tom, you're really tall. I'm talking about your son.
So I'm also Christian. I'm a good Catholic boy from Brooklyn, and the way we celebrated Christmas For me, growing up in Brooklyn was not too different from the way it's celebrated today in Queens, except we seem to have a lot more snow back then. December is just one big white snowstorm in my mind, like I lived at the North Pole. So I don't think I could have much to tell you that you don't already know about Christmas in New York. But Caroline, you seem to like my Irish stories.
I love them.
Like? Oh, you do? Okay.
I do.
And so I'll tell a little bit about some Irish traditions. Wow, I have a good audience memory.
I would like to hear some stories about what things Tom didn't get from on Christmas Day.
Where's the Irish story?
There were always presents, there were always uncles. There were useful presents, there were useless presents. But I don't know if anybody else has this, but I don't do well at the dark time of year. The darkness bothers my mood. I have to be careful to get out and get light, or else I get sad. When I visited Ireland, I had a chance to go to a World Heritage site there called Newgrange in English. Sachi, did you go to Newgrange when you were in Ireland? No?
Don't ask this difficult question.
Where is it?
You would
First of all,
remember if
tell
you
us
did.
where it is.
It's not far from Dublin.
It's not in the city.
In the Irish language, we call it Brún na Boyne, the bend in the Boyne River. And oh, you would remember if you did. It's older than the pyramids. It's a large burial mound, and it stands out from the countryside.
They call Celtic. Is this a Celtic tradition or very old tradition?
It is a very old tradition.
Yeah, probably before
Older than the
Christianity.
pyramids.
Yeah, okay, yeah, then we went. There was a Celtic tour I went.
It's, when I went to Ireland in January, and it's even darker.
Oh, and cold, boy.
It's so dark.
And it rains.
Yeah.
Mostly rains too.
So there's this more than 5,000-year-old monument,
Yeah,
and
big.
it's
Yes.
made of a very bright white stone, so it stands out at the dark time of year. And it was a burial chamber, and they would bring deceased people in, and it's positioned so that on dawn on December 21, the light comes through this little opening, and it shines onto the place where the deceased would be, with the idea being that the light has returned, and this person now is going to follow the light to the next stage of life. And if as somebody who the darkness really bothers, I could see how important that would be in that dark part of the world, that the sun returned. That's that's December 21, not 25. And in a lot of ways, that's what Christmas still is for us here in America. People return. They come back. My son returned just yesterday from New Orleans. And we all gather together, and that's the nice part of the holiday. I don't know if you know this particular tradition from Ireland, Carolyn. The day after Christmas, St. Stephen's Day, children do a cruel thing. They go out and they hunt a little bird, the wren. And they try to catch one of these wren and they kill it. It's sad. And then, of course, being children with a dead wren, they have to have a funeral. So they go from house to house and they say, give us a penny to bury the wren. We have to have a funeral for this, our poor dead friend, the wren. And so it's sort of like Halloween is here. The kids go door to door. And even though that sounds kind of silly, it actually That goes back thousands of years too, when the wren was in pre-literate times and pre-Christian times. The wren was associated with the god of the dark part of the year. And so, and when the sun returns, the ritual sacrifice of the wren. Now the little kids today, they don't know that. They know they get pennies if they go door to door. So I'll try a song. There's a style of singing in Ireland called the Old Style. And it's called the Old Style because it goes back to pre-literate times when people didn't have history books, but singers would tell stories with this song, this very simple melody. And this particular song doesn't go back thousands of years, it's an early 20th century song. And there's a few words of Irish in it you need to know. It's called The Boys of Barnesroyd, which sounds lovely, but it means the boys from the top of the street. That's all it means. Barnesroyd is just the top of the street. And this is a song sung by an old man, older than me even. And he is singing about remembering when he was a boy, and he and his friends would go out and hunt the wren, and how happy they were as little kids. And then these little boys grow up and they have to fight in the army, and then they emigrate from their homes to go far away. So it's like most Irish songs, it's sad. But it's about the boys who hunted the wren at Christmas time. So it goes like this. I've never sung this in front of people before, so give me points for bravery. My son's embarrassed. Oh, the town, it climbs the mountain and looks out o'er the sea. At sleeping time or waking, it's where I long to be. To roam again those kindly streets where once my life began, with the boys of Barnesroyd who hunted for the wren. With cudgels stout we roamed about to hunt the gay drawling. We hunted birds in every furze from Leiter to Donin. We jumped for joy beneath the sky. Life held no prince or plan for the boys of Barnesroyd who hunted for the wren. And when the hills were bleeding and rifles were aflame, to the little homes of Kerry the Saxon stranger came. The boys who dared the Oxys and who fought the Black and Tans were the boys of Barnesroyd who hunted for the wren. And now they toil on foreign soil, for they have gone away, deep in the heart of London town or over on Broadway. And I am left to sing their deeds and praise them while I can. The boys of Barnesroyd who hunted for the wren. Merry Christmas.
Bah. Incidentally, we should have mentioned that Dr. Tom Lilly is not only a professor but an attorney, and now you know a good singer too. I couldn't believe that he remembered the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, it's a long,
And
There's another 97 verses.
you must be practicing it, otherwise,
It's a long one.
you know. So it's, thank you very much.
I'm just going to interrupt. There is a sign-in sheet over there. If
Yeah,
you've
please
forgotten
sign
to
your
sign
name,
in,
address, and email
please
address.
just. I mean, there will be time afterwards when
Yeah, give me.
when there's food
Yeah.
to be eaten, and people are mingling, that you can sign in. But please don't forget to sign in. Thank you.
So now, sorry, I'm going to invite first Steve Reiner. He is a local Christian leader and also goes to India for missionary work. So he is going to say something, but also he is an architect, works for the city of New York. So as Steve comes, I thought I'll mention, because something Protipda briefly touched. Actually, in talking about India, he was talking traditions. Actually, there are 3 Indian states which are Christian majority. Small in population by Indian standard, Mizoram, Nagaland and Meghalaya. And actually I've been to all 3 states. And in Nagaland, it's a mountainous state. When one time during Christmas we went, you see every village, especially at the entrance there are gates, and village hall there would be a star. They will put up a really bamboo pole, and on top of the bamboo pole you would have a star. So it's a very good tradition. And also in Mizoram, it's a Presbyterian majority, but they are very, very traditional, and that state is one of the states where you are not allowed to drink. It's alcohol free, because Christians want that. I just read in the paper last week, because now state is allowing liquor license to some people, yet the church has said anybody who sells liquor will not be allowed to enter church. So church has put a ban on people who would sell liquor. It just happened within the 1 week ago. So with that, let me introduce, let me invite Steve, and then I'm going to invite Susila maybe to say a few words about the tradition of, in their families, how they celebrate Christmas.
Thank you very much, Sashi, for asking me to come. And you asked me, I guess, to speak something about Christmas.
Yeah.
So there's 2 things I thought about even before I was going to read a portion from the Bible that deals with Christ's birth. The first thing is Christmas was not. I found this in the Wikipedia. It was actually not started until about the 4th century after Christ's birth. It was something that was decided to be held as a ceremony, and it's between some Christians today. There are some that choose not to have celebration for Christmas, and of course we know that there's a lot of things that have been added on with Saint Nicholas, who is not mentioned in the Bible. He was in, I guess he was in Turkey, I think, and out of that, with Saint Nicholas, came sort of a tradition of Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas as as Saint Claus, and then the story went further on to have this Saint Claus be able to give gifts to every family, I guess, throughout all the earth. So
flying
that,
reindeer.
yeah. So that has been something that here, even in the West, has sort of like I don't want to say taken over the message of Christ's birth. The second thing I wanted to mention is that the term Christmas is also not found in the Bible. When Wikipedia says that it's with the celebration of what's said in the Bible as the Lord's Supper, that would have been started at that time of the 4th century AD. And I like to use the term the birth of Christ instead of the term Christmas. And actually it has a connotation which is in some Christian circles as that celebration of Christ being crucified every week, which I believe is not, in the Bible. So, but I'm going to just read from. There's actually two portions that are that discuss the birth of Christ in the book of Matthew in the New Testament, in the first and second chapters, and then also Luke. But I won't have time to read all of them, so I'll stick with Matthew. Matthew has the account of the wise men that came. And I'm just going to start, and I'm using a version that's similar to the King James Bible. It's the modern King James Bible, which is maybe a little easier to read. That's a whole other discussion in itself. I'm going to start here. It says, in Matthew chapter 1, verse 18 and following, it says, "Now the birth of Jesus Christ was this way. For his mother, Mary, was betrothed to Joseph. Before they came together, she was found to be with child by the Holy Spirit. But Joseph, her husband, to be, being just and not willing to make her a public example, he purposed to put her away secretly. And as he thought upon these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take to you Mary as your wife, for that in her is fathered of the Holy Spirit. And she shall bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins." Now all this happened so that might be fulfilled that was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, Behold, the virgin shall conceive in her womb, and will bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. And which being interpreted is God with us. And Joseph, being roused from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, and took his wife, and did not know her until she bore her son, the firstborn, and he called his name Jesus. In Matthew chapter 2, I will read to, to the end of the chapter. It says, "Then, now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men came from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. But when Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said to him, In Bethlehem of Judea. For so it is written by the prophet, And you, Bethlehem, and the land of Judah, are not the least among the governors of Judah. For out of you shall come forth a governor, who shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, inquired of them exactly what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when you have found him, bring me word again, so that I may come and worship him also. And when they heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them until it came, and stood over where the child was. And seeing the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And coming into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. And opening their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they went back into their own country another way. And when they had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be there until I bring you word. For Herod is about to seek the child to destroy him. And he arose and took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt. And he was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked by the wise men, was greatly enraged, and he sent and killed all the boys in Bethlehem, and in all its districts, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had carefully inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. But Herod having expired, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise and take the child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for the ones who sought the child's life are dead. And he arose and took the child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to read in Luke, in the passage in Luke, deals with the shepherds when they had seen when Christ was actually born. In this passage, the wise men are from the east. It doesn't say where they were from. They could have been from another country. They could have been up north somewhere. But they apparently were told that this one special child was to be born, and they were exceedingly joyful about that. And I really should have asked before, really how many of you have either read this portion of the Bible or had heard about it? And perhaps some of you have, some of you have not. So I just thought it was good that since Sashi asked me to speak about Christmas, we say we go to the source, okay? And the source that we find, many people can write about many things, but this is the source that we have, is the Bible that we've had for the last 2,000 years. And a couple things I just want to mention is that one of the